Yes,
Okay.
yes, definitely. When we say neglect, just like we have mentioned, when parents neglect all of this provision from giving them to a child that the child deserves, because when we say child, that's from 0 to 18, a child that is still very much under the care of the guardian or the parents, that cannot fare for themselves. That's the range of children we are talking about. By the time the parents or the guardian fails to make all of these provisions available for this child, the child there's a tendency that this child gets looks outside, looks elsewhere to be able to try and get some of these things that are meant to have been given to them by their guardian or their parents. So by the time they go out there, that's a risk. By so doing, the tendency for them to get abused comes in. Yes, very, very high. In fact, almost 99% high. What is abuse? Abuse is not just a physical violence, all right, directed at a child. It is any form of maltreatment of a child, any form of maltreatment of a child by an adult, majorly by an adult that knows what they are doing, all right, which is violence or threatening to that child, a form of maltreatment that is violent, that is a threat to that child, either emotionally, physically, otherwise. That's abuse. Yes, and of course we have various types of abuse. Yes, abuse also can be sexual. There are sexual abuse where, yes, sexual molestation where that can lead to rape. Yeah, and then we have psychological. Of course, by the time you are treating a child, threatening a child to the being violent to a child, all of this as children, like I've said, between the ages of 0 to 12, psychologically goes a long way. These are the acts that a child grows up with, that it takes probably after the child must have we have the need to see a specialist, to see a counselor, to be able to talk them out of this experience, this encounter, bitter encounters that they will have gone through while they were growing up.
What would a child of
you said I should finish mentioning them. Financial and material abuse. We said when they lack, when they don't get, when they feel their guardians and parents fail to provide for them, the tendency for people to okay, give me this and I'll give you this, since they are so much in need, they are not being provided for, like trade by barter. Okay, they make demands of the child to give them something, and that then we have modern slavery, which children, you see child house help children, they go work, you see them hawking. These are forms of child abuse, when they should be in school, when they should be nurtured as children. They are the ones assisting their parents to make money, to earn a living financially and all that, to take care of their family. They are junior ones, when they even need needs, they have needs as children. Okay, and of course discriminatory abuse, where they are discriminated for whatever obvious reasons, okay, you are not from here, you are from here, or like that, then of course I've talked about sexual exploitation, when outrightly they ask for sex. Okay, my mother is sick, okay, yes, I'll give you the money, she needs to go to the hospital, there's no money, oh yeah, come and sleep with me and I'll give you the money. All sorts, all manner of abuse. In fact, we cannot. There are so many.
So many of them.
Yes, so many of them. So that's it. And like Raymond was trying to say about, you can't just totally neglect or not being able to help or assist or deprive your relatives from coming to visit. But you as a parent have to be on the watch.
Watch them.
You have to be on the watch. You have to be vigilant. You have to be watchful. It is wrong for you to bring up your brother to live in your children's room, or your sister, or your cousin, or just anybody to come to the house, and you take them to live in your children's room. It's even bad enough. They don't even necessarily have to be in your children's room. Being in that house alone, it's risky. Let me tell you something. Most of the children that are abused by those that they know very well. Those they are comfortable with. House helps, drivers, gatesmen, uncles, uncles, aunties, because let's not forget here, there are boys get abused too. It's not just it's just that it's more rampant among girls. There's a higher percentage of girls, the girl child being abused. But yes, the boy child equally gets abused. Let's not throw that away. Yes, so this is why as a parent, you must be up and doing. You must be watchful and vigilant. Very sensitive. Sensitivity is the word, is the order of the day. And whoever that person is, no matter how close you are to that person, because you don't even know where that person is coming from, that you leave your child. Parents should be very careful who they leave, who they entrust their children in their hands. They should be very, very watchful who they entrust their children to do school runs, to go take them to school and bring them back. When they are yet back from work, when the children come back home in their absence, who is home with them, who stays with them, who feeds them. Parents should be really very careful about this. When they are traveling, taking a trip outside town, who is with these children? Because it's at this point that most times they get abused. And of course, you don't expect the child to be abused by an adult, and the adult will tell the child, when mommy comes back, tell him or tell her, or when daddy comes back, tell him. No, they will tell you, they will threaten and tell you, no, if you dare, they will give them all manner of threats. That's where it goes down, memory lane psychologically. Yes. So that's it.
All right, okay. Mr. Man, I don't know if you have something to add to. Part of neglect we are looking at. Okay, let's look at that. Okay.
It is part of it. Like we had earlier emphasized that it is the duty of the parents to make available housing, that's shelter, clothing,
food, clothes, shelter,
education.
Okay.
Teach them, nurture them, teach them good and bad, wrong and right. If your child is growing up and you are the one that is in charge of clothing that child, you buy what they wear. Yes. You teach them from the beginning how they should dress. And then they grow up with that setting. That you set a pace of how they should dress. When they follow that trend and grow up. But if by the time they are growing up, in which probably they started going to school, to their teenagers, and they are going, how teenagers love to explore. They are inquisitive. They see their mates do things, and they want to explore, to see why can't they do the same thing. Do you understand? That is why it is a duty. Like they always hear me say that. I say that when your child go to school, whether they are boarding and come back, you come back, find out what they have learned newly. Find out, and of course you have to be on a talking term with your child. You have to be in relationship. If not, they won't talk to you. If they are already used to not coming to you, talking, having a conversation with you, then it will be late at that age for you to feel them or want them to come back from school to begin to confide in you. It's not going to work. So that's why the earlier, no, it's not going to work. That's why the earlier the better. So that by the time they are free with you, they can have a good conversation with you, they can trust you. It is very important that your children, because there are a lot of things that they fail to tell their parents, they go trust outsiders and they tell them, and they need help. There are times they need help, they need counsel. So if you are not the kind of a parent that's accommodating, that they can come to and ask questions, then I'm sorry as a parent, I'm sorry for you.
But this is just, Raymond, you're a father. Let's look at a situation where
they're staying with these children.
So one person should step down.
Per time, there should. Oh yes, until you decide that one person has to step down to watch, to be, keep watch over these children. Then don't start having them.
Okay, don't start having them.
Oh, don't even start having them. So that it is painful for a child to undergo abuse.
Okay, and neglect.
Of course, which comes it's as a result of negligence, neglect, that abuse comes. Is when a parent neglects his duties or her duties, their duties as parents to their child, that's when abuse comes.
Mr. Raymond, I don't know if this is applicable to a man that earns 30.
No, that's what I'm saying. There has to be an agreement.
Okay.
The man could be the one
to step down.
If the woman earns more, the man can be, focused. This is their children.
I don't know if
the wife earns more.
Earns more. Should the wife have to step down?
No, that's what I'm saying. There has to be an agreement.
Okay.
The man could be the one
to step down.
If the woman earns more, the man can be focused. This is their children. They owe nobody no explanation as far as making the family is concerned. Making a family is between a man and his wife.
Yes.
It's an agreement
Yes.
between the two of them only. Yes, there are extended families that could give counsel, that can help and assist in one way or the other, but it has to do with Mr. and Mrs. It is the Mr. and Mrs. that produce these children, that make these children together, and that's why they share responsibility.
You see,
Of protection of over these children. Yeah.
When I got married, I decided that I wouldn't want my wife
Time
to take care of these children,
so that she can manage her time.
manage her time by herself.
By herself.
Yes.
So people that want to get married now should be considering that.
Yes.
They should come together and reach an agreement.
What will work for them? What works for family A may not work for family B or family C. So think about it. Talk about it. Make suggestions and see what kind of a job are you doing? What kind of a business are you into? Both of you. So you figure out what works, what is going to work for you and your family.
So what you're saying is that training up a child is a huge task. That demands time.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh yes.
That demands time.
You must have time
for your children.
If you do not have time for your children, please don't have them. Don't bring. Oh yes, quote me. Elizabeth Sam said. I say that.
You don't have time for
if you
children,
do not have time, don't bring them. Don't have them. Leave them where they are. Oh yes.
Why do you say so?
Because pain. It is frustrating. Do you know how frustrating parents get when they discover the kind of torture, abuse their children go through in the hands of those that have I don't know what to call them. I'm trying to mind my language, the kind of words I use on air.
Does that also include having children you cannot cater for? I don't know.
It's part of it.
It's part of it, okay?
Yes, it's part of it. If it's one you have the time for, please have one. If it is two, let them be two. Don't have more than that.
All my children are four. They are female. They are male.
Well,
so you have 5 children. You say, oh, this one is female. Then you need male. So because you need male children, you now have.
Then you have 5, you have 6.
So when they
because
now
they are
ask
looking
you for a male child, when they now ask you, say, oh, I wanted a male child, so I have 8 children. And out of these 8 children, it's the only one you can train. You can train.
Right.
Then the rest.
What happens to
what
them?
happens to the rest?
Right.
The rest, yeah.
Where we are today, what's happening around us today? There's a lot of pressure.
Okay.
There's a lot of pressure. Definitely, you need to feed these children. That's why we are still saying that bring up or have the number you can train or cater for. All right. You have to feed them. And if you cannot feed them, that's part of neglect.
Okay.
That will push them outside to go and look for
food, okay?
For food or for shelter or for whatever.
A man must eat now.
And assuming you have to work to be able to feed them, to be able to clothe them.
So you
to
have
be able
to
have
you have to overwork yourself.
To be able to put a roof over their head. Do you understand?
Okay.
To be able to give them an education, you have to work. You have to earn a living. So yes, you were asking Raymond. You asked Raymond a while ago if it must be on a daily basis that you talk to your child.
Children, yes.
Okay, fine. I said at least one parent should be on ground. If it is the wife that is on ground, before the man comes back, maybe he comes back home late, she will have ensured that the homework has been taken care of. She will have assisted the child or the children to done the homework. By so doing, when the children are asleep before the man comes, he doesn't necessarily need to go wake them up to start asking for their homework or counseling them. When we say it, of course, it takes both parents to bring up a child. It mustn't be an everyday thing. When you are really busy, you are not there. But you must find at least once a week, twice a week, depends. You must find the time. You can't keep giving excuses to say because you are so busy. I don't have time. Will you say because you don't have time, you work so hard to take care of this same family, and eventually you lose this family to the society and all your years of working hard to ensure that you take care of them, you now eventually lose the family and you are left.
The resources you have invested in
exactly. Then it becomes a loss.
Wow.
What shall it profit a man to work over the years and lose his home and family?
And end up training a radical. Sorry to use this word.
Exactly.
That will now become a nuisance to the society.
Right.
After spending that time, money.
Exactly. After working so hard.
Okay.
So you have, as a parent, you have to be able to, there has to be a balance.
Okay.
There has to be a balance in the relationship with your wife,
Right.
your spouse. Yeah, there has to be a balance in your relationship with your children. That's what makes a man. That's what men do. You must balance your relationship with your wife and your children.
Okay.
Yes, there has to be one. You must try your best not to let one suffer over the other. That's what it should be.
Okay.
Yes, so that is why it takes planning.
Are there dangers of neglecting your child?
We have
We have
mentioned.
stated that already.
Oh
Okay,
yes, we have.
okay.
Oh yes, there are
Okay,
dangers.
there are dangers.
Threats, violence, domestic violence,
Okay.
rape. Then let's not let's not forget bullying. Most do that, not necessarily only in school. Yes, it's very common amongst children in school, but it can be outside too, in the office, workplaces. People are bullied. Adults bully adults for obvious reasons, either because their gender, you are a woman, you can't. This is not for you. This position is not for you, or this whatever, or you're tribal. Different reasons.
Okay.